Recording now.
Okay.
There we go. So we're going to have no intro. So for people watching this, this is the 3-step action plan with Selena, and she's just joined the Get Clients Quickly program as well, which is really cool. So but we're going to go through what's challenges, and you're going to kind of watch it all play out. And it's just there's no sales in this content. There's no big ooh-ah about me or anything like that. It's purely about let's support and guide Selena, and hopefully other coaches will get some value from it as well. So Selena, this starts. So we've already got your kind of challenge. You put on your challenges in the email, figuring out your niche, what products it needs, your niche, and then how to sell it, which is we already just said this over pretty common for a lot of coaches, if you like. Let's start off with saying kind of this. So we've got Red Moon Coaching.
Yeah.
How would you introduce yourself very quickly if you was going to introduce yourself for the moment?
Not a very quick job, to be honest. Got to introduce myself. Takes about 10 minutes at the moment. I'm a coach, and at the moment I do a lot of very varied work, and I haven't had a niche until now. I've resisted it because I really like the variety, and I am just starting. I've had in the last year really developed an interest in working with people around confidence and the offshoots of that. So a lot of imposter. I get a lot of clients who turn up with imposter syndrome and general confidence, not speaking up, not asking for what they want, not succeeding in a corporate space where they want to, because, and these are not my words, these belong to a client, the men all speak across me in the meeting. So that's really an area that I find really interesting, and it's one I really want to look at more.
Yeah,
and it's one I have a lot of experience.
Yeah. So because you come from your website, you come from career coaching anyway, don't you? Well, career background and
so I have a corporate background. I have 20 years in the corporate world, and then I started life as a career coach. I didn't love it. I find that I like career coaching. I don't really like doing the same thing over and over again. So I didn't really want to go completely down the career coaching route, because I don't really like being limited. But a lot of what I do is coaching people around their careers, because I do corporate work.
So if we tackle the first one around finding your niche, is where are you with that? I know obviously you've probably seen one of the emails that you had earlier already in the program around simplifying it a little bit. And I've done content about that. But where are you then with where you feel your niche is that you want to work with?
So I'm clear that confidence is the niche. My biggest issue is that I don't know how well that will sell as a topic. So I'm struggling to envisage somebody in a corporate space going to their manager and saying, I would really like to do this course on confidence, and I've heard that it's great, because I just don't think that's something people would ask for. So I can't keep wondering whether there's another piece to it. Like, what is it about confidence that's important, or what's the piece of it that people will buy? What's the end result? Because I don't think people will ask to buy confidence.
Yeah. Let me ask a question around that then. If as you say, confidence can be that vague, and if you've got we talked about you can have one area of your niche vague, if you like the person or who it is, as long as one is specific and the what is specific. But what's the outcome of someone being confident in? And are we specifically looking at with people in a workplace, or is it more genuine than that?
It can be more general. I think it's an issue that shows up more in the workplace. But if you're somebody who understands about their own confidence, that's definitely going to impact all of your life, not just your working life. But I think it will hold you back more. People's personal lives tend to be built around who they are. So if you're somebody who's not that confident, then actually often your partner or your friends they just accept that and they compensate, or those are the kinds of people you've surrounded yourself with. So it's less likely. I don't think you're likely to stick your hand up as much and say, I'm going to go do a course, or I'm going to hire a coach. Whereas in a workplace, it can really hold you back. So people don't ask for promotions that they deserve. They often don't show up in a meeting with the sort of gravitas or the presence that they want to, because they've got this little nagging voice in their head.
Yeah, and I think there's I think with one thing I would say about the confidence is almost like there's a negativeness to it a little bit, where is I'm not confident, I've got a lack of confidence, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would say for you that if that's more the situation, having confidence, what's the desire of having confidence for someone that you want to work with?
So it's a really good question.
What the results they would get from being confident? If you could you name 3 off the bat?
I could probably. So there's definitely something about kind of, I'm trying to make it not sound so coachy, but kind of something about stepping into your strengths, like really, I'm trying not to say stepping into your greatness, because that just sounds like a coachy thing, but there's something about stepping into your strengths. And there's another one probably around knowing your worth and asking for what you want, that kind of aspect. And then there's something possibly around perspective there's a list of probably about 20 things. So I don't know what the top 3 would be, but something around perspective. So knowing what's actually true versus what the little demon in your ear is telling you about what a loser you are, versus, what's actually true about the situation. And so not holding back. It's something about not being held back. That was very vague. And perhaps that's a piece of work I need to do, is to list out what all those things are.
Yeah, so that's where when you look at that, there's always a specific kind of results. When we look at a niche, if we follow it more of that, we want what desire out that comes. So the situation is they've got lack of confidence, which is causing this, causing that. It might cause not getting promoted, not getting heard, not getting feeling almost alone in the family environment or anything like that, where because of the lack of confidence. So it's a situation which is causing these things, which then enhance the no confidence sort of stuff. And then there's a desire where they want to get to them people. And I think that desire, like you said, like stepping into your strengths might be, so the stepping into your strengths may well be the final, that can cover a lot of different things, for example. And I think having a phrase like that, a desired outcome like that, which can open up into a lot of different things, is an underlay, because there will be with anything outcome, there's like when we purchase a coaching program or we go into anything we go into, even we take our theory test and our driving test, for example, right? The outcome is so we can go and drive a car, right? But then there's a lot of sort of non-tangible outcomes that come along with that as well. So the one thing about driving a car, for example, is we've actually feel like we've got independence, right? We don't feel like we've got to go and ask mum and dad to go and try and take myself back to quite a few years ago for me now. But we don't have to go and ask mum and dad to take us somewhere, to drop us off. We've got that own independence, stuff like that. We've got the things like it's our car now. So instead of having to go in everyone else's car and it's their rules, it's now our rules because it's our car. So there's loads of intangibles from having that confidence. But in terms of what lead into figuring your niche and then what products, if you like, to sell them, is the situation, the desire from that outcome that they're going to get. So there's going to be one overall that makes sense, desire outcome. And that can be a very coaching term, like stepping into your strengths, because that can be your main, like, this is what I sell, my stepping into strengths. We talked about as a product, I think the very first, I think you've seen the video already around, just like going into six one-to-ones over 6 months. So it's easy to price, it's easy to understand, easy to deliver, and easy to get started for people. And having that one desire, and then having actually, and this also means that you get, which gives you this, which gives you that, which gives you that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. I just don't know what
So I sell, if you like, for me, like the coaching I sell is getting clients quickly, right? But that's a very, if you like, top level outcome design and growing and building. And the main thing I talk about is building and scaling your coaching business, because it depends where you are, and the journey will be the initial stage, getting clients, then building, and then scaling. But so there's all the elements. There's that build and scale your coaching business and get clients quickly. But then there's the bits underneath, like at the moment, the coach program, it's only this much, and it's only working 1 hour a day. You don't have to sign up to loads of things. You don't have to have a big following. All these sort of things, kind of them other outcomes, tangible outcomes connected to it. So what we do is we get confused when you're trying to think of, well, what products and what niche. The niche isn't changing. What's changing is you're kind of trying to cater to too many people on too many specific things, which are actually tangible outcomes of the main thing that you give.
Yeah.
Or the main thing that you deliver. All the other little things that you're thinking, oh, you're getting confused about. Well, my niche, because I help with getting a new job, I help with the family situation, I help with getting, so all of them things are tangible outcomes, which are, rather than you thinking, well, my niche is different because some people want that and some people want that. Well, they don't, because they'll get whatever ones that they're in, whatever environment they are. So you don't need to worry about so much of, is it career, is life coaching? Everyone will be different, because everyone will be the people that get attracted to that. I'm not saying you step into strengths, but the people that get attracted to that will they have their own situation that they're trying to get out of to get that desire. And that will bring a little bit of the help you with the not getting bored and having a varied clientele. Because there's many ways, isn't there, to get to like if you want to go to, like, we're here in the UK obviously, but if we want to go to France, for example, there's actually quite a few different routes we can take. We can take plane, we can take boat, we can swim if we want. There's loads.
After you.
Canoe, yeah, not for me, no. Stuart Kirsten would definitely, he's from the channel, he'll do it. But but there's loads of different routes we can take to get to that desired outcome, which is, let's say, stepping in, go and see the Eiffel Tower in France, right?
Yeah.
There's loads of journeys. We can take train, for example. We can take a bit of boat, car, train. What's that film? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We can do. We can do. There's a multitude of ways of getting there, and it's where everyone's starting from. So where you're starting from, where I'm starting from, is completely different scenario, because it might be that you might be scared of flying, I might be scared of boats. So everyone's got their different roadblocks on that journey, but we're still in that's the desired outcome we want to get, is go and see the Eiffel Tower. So your Eiffel Tower can be this quite stepping into strengths or something like that almost does what it says on the tin, so it's quite easy to understand when you say it. But the tangible outcomes are not different niches, they're just different parts of the journey, and they're different outcomes that people are going to get from that journey.
All of that makes so much sense, and I just, if I've understood it right, it feels like what I need is something which is a very clear, the piece about the Eiffel Tower,
design, milestone, outcome, very clear.
This is what I'm selling, and I don't think I have that yet, because I don't think it's about stepping into strength. That's part of how we go about delivering it.
But
it's not.
And even the first example, having a driving license. So having a driving license is the outcome, is the milestone. So the intangible outcomes that come with that are just, you could sit all day, but fun enough, confidence comes with that, because as soon as you pass driving, as soon as you whip off them red plates, I mean, I really am going back into my memory now, but as soon as you rip off them red sort of kind of plate things, you get an ooze of confidence straight away, don't you? Whenever you achieve anything like that, you get this kind of like cloud nine feeling where you're and
confidence is different for everyone.
You get that through your clients, which is wonderful about the coaching industry. And that's the same, but the tangible outcomes, the journey is different for everyone.
So is that the thing I'm missing? Is that the first thing I need
Yeah,
to
I think
figure out?
you're yeah, a lot of things with when people say to me figuring out their niche, when coaches say figuring out their niche, and the reason why I laugh when we said off camera initially, because I know that just overcomplicating it in terms of,
Mm,
and there's too much there is too much thrown at coaches. A lot of
yeah,
I won't use any examples of real people, but there's a lot of
yeah.
people that kind of sell this bit of, you know, your niche, and actually overcomplicating it completely. And because of that, then we get confused, and then we feel like we've got so much attachment to this niche. Now, you're getting your initial first clients and building your, you know, starting to build and grow your coaching business. Absolutely, having a specific niche is perfect.
Yeah.
Does really help, but the niche is the situation that people win and
hmm
the desired outcome they want to get to, and the rest all in between is the coaching, right? It's the
Yeah. Yeah.
it's what we coach.
Yeah.
We coach them, and that's and it might be that that desired outcome is specifically does fit a specific person. So if it's like perimenopause, for example, then obviously that tends to be there. But even that, you know, it's if you look at perimenopause, it's been proven now that it's the women at completely different ages can have perimenopause. You know, so
Yeah.
the even that you can't say, oh, it's just for women that are 50 plus, or you know,
No.
or age between, because you know some women get it early, other women get it, you know, and if
hmm
anything, it's probably worse for the women that get it early because their doctors don't
Yeah.
automatically say
Probably.
it's perimenopause because you're too young. But
Yeah.
reality, so it's tying yourself down into, you don't have to go really into that detail. It's more around where people are at the moment
Yeah.
and where can you really help, you know, giving them the confidence and the things, where can they really, what's that really big sort of North Star
Yeah.
outcome you can get them, and you know that you can get them that outcome desired, knowing that there's going to be all these tangible outcomes.
Okay. I like that. And then the tangible, so the other outcomes, not the main one, presumably go into any kind of blurb or content, or that's when those that's what you use those
That actually
for.
makes great content along the line,
Mm,
because then you have, you know, and it'd be good doing an exercise in yourself in terms of, right, this is the overall outcome and desire, and making a list of all them tangible outcomes, because I tell you what,
mm,
you will it might struggle with the first five, then you'll just flow and you'll end up with probably 25 quite easily. And
yeah.
the reality is then you've got 25 really great bits of content that really attracts people,
Yeah.
that is content that is worthy of people seeing, you know, and um yeah, and that would be really good. And then to when people are talking about stuff and they're talking about, you can go, well, my actually program can help that, because you know that's one of the tangible outcomes you're going to get from it, as
Yeah.
a side note, you know. And your third kind of challenge around how do you sell it,
Yeah.
well, actually your tangible outcomes add so much more value to what you're selling as a program.
hmm
We said a
Yeah,
program
that makes sense.
that all of them, that's how you actually said, because instead of, you don't have to give, what I like about your stuff and is, and what you said is, you don't have to give loads of bonuses, right, to sell your thing. If you said to me, well, I've got, you know, if you do what we do in the program around that 6 month one-to-one program,
hmm
that price point, you don't need to add loads of bonuses like, oh, you get a free session, or you get, you know, more time, whatever like that. Your bonuses are, these are your tangible outcomes you're going to get from it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is because when people talk about bonuses, you get this extra, you get this extra, you get this extra, this extra. We see them on the websites, you know, people go bonus one, bonus two, bonus three, you know. Right. But then what we do is you're really going at people from a money point of view, a money conversation.
Yep.
We're just talking about costs and investment, and oh, it's worth the cost of money because you get this extra, you get this extra. And in reality is, the more you give people, actually, the more confused it makes people. This,
Mm,
but rather than that, if your then perceived value is going up, and your perceived value of how you sell, about how you sell what you sell, is actually really escalating, because your perceived value is not on well, because you get this bonus. It's not. It's because you're going to get this outcome. You're going to get
The
that
core
outcome.
stuff.
Yeah. And regardless of if you're, the stuff that's, yes, it might be someone comes to you because of their career, but it's going to affect loads of tangible outcomes in their life as well as their career, as it does. And then it's great because
like
then
that.
you have the ripple effect where it affects all the people around them, as well. So
Yeah.
you're not just
Yeah.
working for one person. It impacts.
I'm not charging enough, Scott. I'm going to be impacting their whole life.
But
Okay.
and I think, yeah, with that, and then it gives you a bit of, from what you said off camera there, I think that'll give you a bit of freedom then in terms of you're not just coaching people with the same thing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, what I realize actually as I hear you talk is that when I first started out, the minute you change your title in LinkedIn to be a coach, you're inundated with people saying, "I help coaches make £6 million before they get out of bed,"
Yeah.
and that at that level, all the people who you talked about working on niches talk about, who are they? What do they wear? Where do they shop? Do they shop in Waitrose? Do they shop, where can they hang out? Can you? And I found all of that really quite yucky. And so I kind of grabbed a niche which made sense. And this niche, I'm noticing I don't feel nearly as resentful of it. Actually, I'm really excited about it because it's real. It's the thing I've developed over 5 years. So it's an interest, a real genuine interest.
If you look at, there can be there's its place and its thing, like, with someone with a particular thing is, showing people how to, for instance, it might be someone coaches people in recruitment to get to a certain level of management to another to become and that's can be quite specific in that sense, which is okay. But the majority of the time it's not. And if you look at, you only have to look at all of the, it's interesting, like people like Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Maria Forleo, all of these people, if you look at them and you look at their audience, they're not someone who's in a box. Then and even the people that talk about, that you have to have this need. If you look at their audience, they're not someone that fits in one box. If you go to UPW on Tony Robbins, you'll see people, 19, 18, different races, different, genders, everything. And then you'll see people in their 80s, going there, and everything in between, and again, it's not because it's because of the way to get around figuring out your niche is not one to pressure yourself about, I need to have this in it. It's more just understanding this is the situation people are in that I can help and support and guide them to get them to this desired outcome. And then because of that, they're going to get all of these things. And the underlining thing, if you like, that you become almost an expert, you're an expert in, is actually the confidence in that. So the confidence to go from that situation to that's kind of comes then the cornerstone of all of the stuff in between, like giving you the confidence of wherever you're situation in to get to this outcome. So it's almost like, so when we talk about going to the Eiffel Tower, you're here in the UK, the Eiffel Tower, you're coaching me to go there. After the initial conversations and initial sessions, I decided that we're going to go by train away. So that train journey is what confidence is in your journey that you're taking people on.
Okay. I really like that, actually. It's a very good analogy. It works really well. I'm picturing myself on a train now.
What is this going on YouTube page? But you'll also get a recording of this, so you can use
Thank you. I know I keep on trying to make notes and realizing it's recorded and I don't need to.
And when the one you put about challenge about products it needs, I think where you're at is keep it really simple. So keep to that one. We talk about the one method on the first video. So one program, one strategy, and one niche, if you like. We talk about one niche with the situation to the design, and have that one program that it goes, that it can, whether it's whether you would do it 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want to do within the cycle, and just keep it really simple, because I think always say it's a lot of people try and jump to group coaching memberships. Now, I'm not going to contribute, because people look at it and go, well, you've got a group, you've got a bit, but it's the level of people at where you're at. And I would say
Yeah.
at this stage, if you go and do 6 to 10 one-to-ones clients over that's month, you'll learn so much more about who your niche is
Yeah.
and who you really want to work with within that. But it's more about,
Yeah.
and if you're saying one thing which I think is quite common is having a variety of different people you're coaching. And the
Yeah.
way for you to do that is have that. This is your situation in UK. This is where the desired outcome is to get to Eiffel Tower. How we're going to do that is going to be completely different for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's going to be underlined by the confidence, and that confidence might be training, it might be boat, it might be whatever. But how we get there is going to be different for everyone, because everyone's journey will be different then, and every story will be different.
No, I really like that. That's very helpful, Scott.
And then to set it, I say, if you do that list of tangible outcomes, that's how you set it, because you can use that as content. You can always say, so every time you do it, you might say tangible outcome, knowing your worth, example, will be a tangible outcome.
Yeah.
So you can do a piece of content, knowing your worth. And then when you're doing that piece of content, you talk about, this is a big part. This is one of the tangible outcomes from the Stepping into Strengths program, whatever you call it, right? And so that's how you set it, because your content on that, then you're just relating it to, this is actually part of the program. And then people become attracted to that. So you don't have to overset it. You just go, well, this is part of the program. If you're interested in knowing more details, let me know. And that's how you set it, really.
And literally stick to that. So when I asked the question about what products does it need, so I have a training course kind of in the hopper, and I know I'm not anywhere near launching it yet, but I have it in the hopper as something I'd really like to do, and I have a sort of rough design, just whatever. And I was wondering whether the path from here towards that, with things like, you see quite a lot on LinkedIn, people will say, and I think it's when people are trying to develop a mailing list and that kind of stuff, they'll say, click here if you want my 3-step guide to combating imposter syndrome or something like that. And that was the thing I meant, really. Is that stuff I need to be doing?
Well, you will have that, and you'll have that when you'll get to it at a certain point of the program. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I think
am I jumping the gun?
11, I think it is for you.
Okay.
But yeah, we took that, and that will be how you said it is. How you said it is with, once you got your niche, and then how do you generate leads, and generating the leads, the people, and a lead is someone saying, oh, I'm interested in something connected to what you provide, and then turning them into an actual client. This is a different process. But the initial thing of getting people to say, and that's where you can use all that content and say, actually, I'm interested, I'd love that information, I'd love that. So you can do something like knowing your worth. And if, for example, on this, and there's a big piece of content I'm not going to go into here because it will take a long time, but it's in the program around how to deliver content correctly, correctly for you and correctly for people to receive it properly, rather than giving all of so you're giving great stuff, but you're not giving it all away, if you like, because that's too much for people seeing it as well. But then if you go knowing your worth as an example, there can be you can do a 30-second reel on that, right? You can do a 1 minute video, you could do a 5-minute video, you could do a webinar about that, you could do a workshop about it and drive people to the workshop. Would you be interested in delving this detail? And so there's loads of elements you can do like that, which would attract the people, and then say on all them tangible outcomes will become almost like the if you look at what's the best way, it's almost like the add-ons around the things. You've got your main thing, which is your program, then all the tangible outcomes are like around it, where you go, actually you can use that as content in different ways, which will show you in the program anyway how to do it. And that'd be great. You can use that knowing your strengths. You can use that to get leads, turn them to clients as a different process where we get people on a call, and then, but at this stage it's a case of it'll allow you to talk about stuff, share stuff, knowing that it's connected and it's congruent with what you are selling. To support and guide them.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like I need to wait to session 11.
Well, I'd say the bit for you at the moment is really, if we talk about coming away with 3-step, it's really is, I would say that desire is, or the situation is going on all the really kind of what's the situation people are in that you know that you can support and guide them. What's the step 2 is have that main desired outcome.
Yeah.
It becomes almost your program name, so it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And then making a list of all the tangible outcomes that they also get from that.
Okay. And the first one will be a list too, right? These are all the situations they could find themselves.
Yeah.
And there's the one box in the middle that's got the punchy name, and then there's another list on the other side.
You won't be able to see it on here properly, I suppose, but a little bit of here. I was doing a whiteboard one where situation that people are in, like for me, like coaches that are getting started. So again, I said that where I think just before we come on this start of the video, is I like working with coaches, but at different levels, right?
Yeah.
So, and I really like which is why the Get Clients Ready program ends, because I really like supporting coaches that are struggling or been burnt or whatever like that, and just need everything simplified and not to be stripped of all their money, if you like, in selling our ticket. But
it's so easy.
But there's sort of 3 people in that fall into that category for me, right? So the situation with a list of that is people that coaches are getting started, right? Coaches that are been around but got 0 clients, and coaches have got inconsistency in getting clients. They all kind of fall into that similar one. And then if you like, the Get Clients Quickly program is the outcome, the desired outcome, desire for them, for the people that fall into that situation. And then there's loads of tangible outcomes around once you start getting clients, right? So again, we can make a list, but I think a list of that tangible outcomes as well. So the situation they're in. Now that list will be, that doesn't need to be huge, but understanding that allows you to know who you're talking to, because you talk to people in the situation.
Yeah.
And then having the main desired outcome is you know, you can talk about where you take them to, what journey you take them to, and then all the tangible outcomes becomes like, you know, these are all parts of it, if you like, that you'll get from that going on that confidence journey with me, you know, to get this desired outcome. So I think that situations, desired outcome be really, and it can change, you know, I think you play with it, you know, because I think as you start working people, you then realize that actually it's a different outcome you get them, or it's a different outcome you get them. And that's fine. And then just have the tangible outcomes, and then don't overcomplicate the program. Just do, I would say, you know, the 6 months or 6 1-to-1s, and with the pricing point that's in the program. And and then setting it is that is you'll find out is just literally on them tangible outcomes is talking about them, creating content around those, creating webinars and lead hooks. Like you could have things like, you know, the seven aspects of knowing your worth, and you could do it as a PDF. So you can then take, you know, so one of the things we do, you know, because then if you want to let me know if you want you've got a new PDF with the seven aspects of knowing your worth, who would like a copy, and then that's how you generate leads, and and then set it in very much in the style that's in, like, if this is for you, this is for you. If it is, you know, if it's not, and that's fine.
Oh, that sounds so good, Scott. I'm quite excited now. I want to finish this up and get going with my list.
We're going over 20 minutes, but it's been worthwhile. So
yeah, thank you. That's been super helpful.
Okay, cool. I'm going to stop it for the video purposes here, and then